So I've had an instance before where I blanked out on an interview question, and there are sort of two different ways that I would go about doing that. So one way would be I would just sort of try to take a deep breath and think about that for a minute and let myself calm down and ask the employer, can I just have a minute to think about that? And usually they're really understanding. And another way is I would actually ask them to please repeat the question just to give me a bit more time to think about the answer so that hopefully I can provide them with a good answer.
From my own experience, a couple of months ago in a design job interview, I remember I had a problem with my online portfolio because I didn't have my portfolio in my personal computer, and I needed to connect to internet to show them my online portfolio. So the moment I arrived to the interview session, I realized I'm having a hard time, technical difficulties to connect to internet. So I was very nervous about it, and at the moment I started to panic, and then I started to think of, oh, it's actually okay because by panicking nothing gonna get better. So I actually asked them that if it's okay if I use their computer, or is there any way that I can connect to internet because my portfolio is online and I don't have it in my machine. So they were totally okay with it, and everything worked out, and that panic moment passed through pretty well.
So one of the biggest mistakes that still stands out in my mind today was actually going into an interview and feeling really prepared, but it turns out I was using the wrong terminology throughout probably about half the interview, and I actually had to be corrected by the employer about that halfway through point. So it was a really embarrassing moment, but sometimes it happens and you just have to pick yourself up and keep trying and give it your all. So after the interview, I actually went back and wrote an email to the employer. That's something that we sometimes do in communication co-op, where we send a thank you letter or just kind of like a follow-up. So I wrote in explaining that, hi, it was really great to talk to you today, and I explained my mistake a little more clearly, and I've gone back and done a little more research on the topic, and I look forward to hopefully working with the employer and potentially learning more with them in the future. And that actually worked really well for me because I ended up getting that job. So it's not to say that during an interview, if you make a mistake, it's really a make it or break it thing. Sometimes you just have to follow up and then just be open about it, and employers see that honesty and integrity, and who knows, that might lead you to getting a job in the future just because you went and made the effort to try to rectify that mistake.